Is up. Hope you're having an awesome day today. Going to spend a little time talking about ways to manage emotional freedom and managing emotional pain. We've all experienced it. Most of you probably know my story, everything from my father being murdered, wife telling me my baby's not mine, and take the subject off of me and go to you. Pick 3 things in your life right now that have caused you emotional pain. 3 things. Something in the past. 3 things. So I want to go over today and spend a little bit of time. Won't take you too long. I want to take a little bit of time and go over some ways that you can manage emotional pain. And it should be common sense why we want to do that. But there's a lot of reasons why people don't focus on managing their emotional pain. Because for some people, they use substances to manage the pain, and they like the high, they like the substance abuse. Some people don't look at it as abuse. Sometimes it may not be abuse. It may be something that they need to stabilize. It could be just a number of different things. Some people get a lot of significance from getting attention because of the emotional pain. Sometimes we're just afraid of it, afraid of letting go because it's become our identity for so many years. So I want to share with you some things today that we can focus on to help manage some of that emotional pain. Ultimately, what you want to do is you want to be able to push beyond the emotional pain. So let's talk about it. Okay. So if we have any type of pain, let's look at the pain here. What happens is we create negative associations. We create negative associations toward the pain. Well, it's pretty common sense, right? Something traumatic happens to us, and most likely it's emotional. That's why we're creating pain from it. So now, because it's so emotional and painful, when we think about it, a week later, a year later, 5 years later, 10 years later, if we're not careful, we'll constantly be thinking about it, and the emotions and the thoughts are going to be what? They're going to be negative. So what we do now is we stack the negative emotions on top of each other year after year, day after day, week after week. It just keeps getting worse and worse. So if we know that one of the reasons that we have a hard time moving on from emotional pain is because we have created negative associations to the pain, what do we need to do then to be able to move away from some of the pain? As crazy as this sounds, we need to create positive associations or neutralize them. All right? Positive associations, or we need to neutralize them. So how do you do that? Well, are there things that you're doing to intensify the negative associations? You'll hear me say this often. Every time you have an emotion, positive or negative, you're going to do one of 2 things. You're going to either ignore it or you're going to reward it. So the problem with the negative associations toward pain that we've had in the past is that we keep rewarding it. We don't ignore it. How do you reward it? So what I would want you to do, I guess we could keep it down here. I want you to make a list of ways that you reward your negative associations. So there's different ways. We could cry. We could go to alcohol or drugs. We could freeze. In other words, just be isolated, say nothing to people. Maybe we panic. We create an increased heart rate. There could be a number of different things. So if you can be aware of all the things that you do, literally write them down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Write down the ways that you reward the negative pain. Now you are aware of it. Most people are not consciously aware of the things they do to reward their negative pain. And if you're not aware of the things that you do to reward your negative pain, it's going to keep happening over and over and over. Now, of course, I could go in for hours and hours and hours on ways to do this, and most of you know about my my Freedom Challenge, Move Toward Emotional Freedom. So if you have not signed up for that, make sure you do. We'll get a link in the comments below. And I'm going to share with you numerous ways to create different associations. And it's one of my obsessions to help people remove the pain and the suffering that they've experienced in life. And I have had so much of that. You got to get to the point that, you know what, how do I make my life better? And if we don't acknowledge that we need to change these things, this negative association continues on and on and on. All right, so I want you to know there's hope out there. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. I'd love to see your comments below. I do take as much time as I possibly can to respond to them. I'm out of here. I'm going to do some more of these later on. Make sure if you haven't registered for the event, there's going to be the link below. Look forward to seeing you and spending time. We're going to be doing this live for a week. It's not every day for a week. It's a couple hours a day. And this is going to be a great way for us to interact together. So I'm out of here. See ya. Love you. And between now and the next time we get the chat, you know what to do. Don't let anything or anyone rent space in your head.